This week on Eve TV, we have a Helmar exclusive discussing misconduct allegations and plans to rebuild trust with Eve community. STK's leader defends against accusations of being a Band of Brothers spy. We join Scrap Heap Challenge on its latest gank night and have footage from the event. We have an exclusive competition to win Eve store credit worth $100. And in the studio today, Skornik and Fangtooth Kasumi recap on the June London Player Meet. Welcome. You're tuned into the first episode of Eve TV Weekly. I'm Spiral Junkie.
And I'm Stevie SG, and these are the top stories this week for Eve Online.
There has been growing unrest among certain parts of the community regarding the rise of so-called suicide ganks, where groups of individuals take cheaply fitted ships to attack and destroy targets in high-sec Empire, before Concord can come and prevent it. With the recent change in game mechanics, which saw destroyed freighters dropping a portion of their cargo, the number of attacks in so-called safe space has seen a massive increase, as the profits made from taking part of a ship's cargo far exceeds the cost of replacing a new combat fitting. This increase has prompted a public outcry, with many people who believe themselves immune to attack while in 0.5 and above, finding an attack could come at any time. We spoke to James W., established mercenary and Eve TV expert, who said, "Empire suicide ganking is one of the things that differentiates Eve from other games. There's no way you can't die." While this sentiment is echoed by many players, a large number of pilots see this as an unnecessary risk that cannot be avoided. There is a consensus that there's no defence against this kind of attack. Even if a hauler were to have an escort, the defenders wouldn't be able to stop the attackers in time, and the objective of destroying a cargo ship would still be achieved. Other players maintain that using a scout can drastically cut down on the number of times they find themselves in a situation where they're attacked. Upcoming changes in game mechanics means that it should be a lot harder to use the Dominic, the ganker's ship of choice, or any other drone boat, as Concord will soon be targeting drones as part of their law enforcement. However, unless CCP decides to ban all Empire aggression, there will always be ways to engage people in combat against their will.
Eve TV was invited to take part in a gank night last weekend, an occasional rampage through 00 and low-sec space, organised and headed by Mbuku of the Scrap Heap Challenge website. Open to all players, who for a few hours as combatants may engage in everything and anything. Gank nights have been increasingly organised as themed evenings, with the most recent exclusive to those flying destroyer-class ships. Our cameras were rolling for 4 hours before the batteries died out, included a mammoth engagement with the Tau Ceti Federation, although anyone and everyone was a valid target. All told, 8 battleships were destroyed by the Gank Night gang, although honours were even to the tune of 35 destroyers lost. During its travels, the 60-plus fleet passed through Catch, Scalding Pass, Curse and Malden Heath, and although a route is never planned in advance, Mbuku is keen for more players to take part. "We have absolutely no skill point requirements," he said. "We don't mind what age your character is, what security status you have, or what corporation or alliance you're with. It's just a load of fun." The next gank night will be themed around command ships and battle cruisers, although a date is yet to be announced. Visit www.scrapheap-challenge.com for news as it becomes available.
Last week, Eve TV was granted an exclusive interview with Helmar, the CEO of CCP. During this interview, we questioned him not only about the New York Times article, in which he introduced the idea of a player-voted council for audit, but all of the recent allegations. First of all, first question we'll go with is there's been kind of an announcement about CCP are going to be setting up a team of auditors. We're not showing exact details, and the main reason we're not sure is because it was, somebody saw a New York Times article that you did, so there hasn't been any kind of official announcement about it. Do you want to tell us a little bit about why you chose to do it that way instead of making a dev blog or a forum post?
Yes, well, I think the word audit has maybe people have latched onto that a little bit, but what we now are sort of building up is something that we foresee a long time ago that we would have to evolve into. I think it was first released at a FanFest where Kjartan Pierre, then lead designer of EVE Online, he talked about sort of emerging patterns coming out of large social groups and how you have to add each organizational level to a bunch of people that interact together as the group grows. There even is a scientific theory about this, where you can basically correlate the size of the cortex of the brain of individual species, and you can dictate exactly how large a group can be without structures and officials to manage it. Okay. The first step we did was introducing the corporations. Then people very quickly started to build alliances by themselves. So we introduced the formal alliance systems and sort of following what people were doing. But we saw that structure maybe was good for up to 100,000 people. But we have since seen the community grow to heights, I mean, with 200,000 people, where there obviously is a new form of metastructure on top of what we already have needed. And as Kjartan pointed out back in 2005, I think the right way to implement this is to look towards sort of real-world societies and what has worked well there. And obviously, democracy is something that has been quite robust in terms of organizing people and giving people a participation in what they live in. So I look at this more as a council, not unlike what we had back in 2003, where we had the Council of Stellar Management, which was 12 people elected from the community, where we sort of talked about issues in the game with those people. That sort of faded away when we were really busy like improving the game and building it so that it could support this many people. But I would say we're now at a juncture where something new is needed, and we already have this example of the old Council of Stellar Management. We have a really good presentation that Kjartan gave in 2005, and we have been sort of building from this a sort of a holistic solution on how we can build something which is more decentralized and more put in the hands of people that actually are EVE, the players of EVE, rather than CCP always having this sort of dictating role towards the community. I don't really think that's a sustainable concept beyond 200,000 people. Okay. When you look at social structures in the real world, you look at old Egypt, where you had the pharaoh who was he was the king, he was the god on earth, he was the judicial system, he was everything. And then you just watch how societies decentralize and they have multiple facets of decision making and input into the process of evolving the whole thing as a society.
A year ago, when I first got involved in ETV and so on, it felt like CCP was a very fun-loving company. A lot of pictures of devs having fun, playing pool, whatever, having fun with the community and so on, that kind of thing. And obviously that's still the case. But would you have thought a year ago that you'd have an internal affairs department and serious allegations made quite regularly?
I would say these are all functions of scale. And as CCP has grown and the community has grown, of course, interaction between a community of 200,000 people and a company of 200 has to be different than a community of 50,000 people and a company of 50 employees. It usually has been sort of relatively rule of thumb that there is one employee per 1,000 EVE players, and that is sort of a rule of thumb we've sort of gone by. Well, we have built up the company to follow the growth of the community, and again the same applies. As the things become bigger, patterns start to emerge, and you have to build in institutions that tackle the problems that arise from it. And internal affairs division is something that we have had as an informal thing, and really what we were doing was to formalize it better and create a more sort of independent unit out of it. So that wasn't a negative thing per se. Sure, it's difficult for us as employees of the company to hear people speak of it in a bad way. But again, that is a function of scale. I don't think there's a single government of any country where everybody likes them and everybody thinks they're doing nothing but good. There is always a part of any society that feels that things should be done differently. And I think the important part is to build institutions where those voices have a venue, and we can work together to tackle these, fairly serious matters on a societal sort of level, which we're tackling now. Okay. And would you say that working in the company has become maybe, I don't know if serious isn't the word, a little like a shadow has come over the company a little bit maybe? In the last year,
because of all this ill feeling that maybe has developed in certain areas?
Well, I mean, there are people of CCP that take this very close to their heart. I mean, people have poured their heart and soul into the game. They have done their utmost best to make this the best experience ever. And when people come and talk badly of their intent of doing it, of course, people take it to heart. But I regard it as my job to explain to everybody involved that these are not necessarily fundamentally bad things. These are elements of scale which we're dealing with, and I mean we have taken the decision to really run with it, to really try to make EVE a true large virtual society. And I mean you've got to take the good with the bad, and these are the things that you have to tackle. I mean there's no need to cry about it. We just look down. What are the proper steps we need to take to be able to solve this on a much larger scale? And then we have gone through a time of hardship, and that is really the root of all creation.
Okay.
I think there was a Greek philosopher who said, "Strive is the father of all things," and if it isn't difficult, then you're not doing the right thing. And I mean, we've gone through a difficult period. I think that's a testament that we're onto something.
Okay. So what would you say, because there's a certain group of people who play the game because they like the game. You say, I play the game, but I don't trust the company. I don't trust CCP, and I find it very difficult to do so after the last year of allegations, events, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
To see the whole exclusive with Helmar, which includes a detailed explanation of the growth of CCP, EVE, and the community in recent years, head over to the highlights section of our website.
In other news, a small corporation called Save Our Souls, ticker 505, has ended a war against Frege Alliance, saying it has taken out more than 180 vessels against 9 losses and made in excess of 2 billion ISK. Frege's leader, Body Collector, would neither confirm nor deny the losses, saying, "We were involved in real wars with Stella Polar, Guard and Proper Response, groups that actually make a difference, i.e. real alliances." 505 never came to our 0-0 space. Whilst 505 say it would be prepared to engage in 0-0 space in the future, Director Wagan says this makes little sense when profits made in Empire are so much higher. Considering large alliances have significant industrial resources that can easily soak up the cost, such conflicts are seen as little more than an annoyance. For the aggressors, however, declaring war in order to aggrieve freight lines can be highly lucrative. Indeed, since ending its war against Frege, the 4th largest alliance in EVE, the 30-strong 505 quickly moved against the 5th, no less prominent interstellar alcohol conglomerate, an alliance of close to 2,200 member pilots. Within 2 days, 505 claimed to have destroyed 2 IAC freighters. A response from Basilius, a senior IAC diplomat, said, "I was unaware of any serious effect on our industrial operations, and I believe it's business as usual for IAC." He added, "All and any aggression towards IAC assets will be dealt with in a swift and merciless manner." "We believe wars can be fought from so many sides," said 505's CEO Iron Maiden. "We have no capital-class ships, so guerrilla warfare is our way to exploit the jugular of Alliance." That may be stretching the truth somewhat, but whether a minor irritant or a major disruption, if more and more small corps see large Alliance supply lines as an easy target, Alliance fleets without a significant supercapital logistics foothold in 0-0 may be forced into taking greater care of their routes into Empire. July will see the release of The Exiled, the first expansion for the award-winning EVE collectible card game. To celebrate, CCP is offering PayPal prize funds worth $100 each for any pre-release events that hosts 12 people or more. CCP has high hopes for the expansion, which has been in development at CCP's North American White Wolf Studios in Atlanta, although Agent Zero, play coordinator for CCP in White Wolf, admits the CCG market is not in the best of shapes. Speaking to EVE TV, he said, "The market is tough at the moment, and the CCG market especially. That said, EVE the Second Genesis is doing very well, and we've continued through a year that saw several other games stumble and fall."
In a further effort to promote The Exiled, CCP is putting up a $25,000 prize for a tournament to be held at the Gen Con Games Expo in Indianapolis in August. To be eligible to take part, players have to enroll with CCP as EVE agents and assist with organising pre-release events. Asked about the development of other EVE game items at White Wolf, Agent Zero confirmed that an EVE board game and an EVE pen and paper RPG are in development at the moment. Neither game has been in development long, he said, so fans should expect to wait before seeing them on shelves. For more details on the EVE CCG and The Exiled, visit www.eve-ccg.com.
Each week, EVE TV profiles an alliance, interviewing its CEO and pilots and bringing you an in-depth look to its history and inner workings. This week we feature 450-strong MC with an exclusive interview with founder and current leader Celine.
The origins of the mercenary coalition stretch back to the early months of 2004, when founder Celine was flying with legendary pirate corporation Space Invaders. Body Count, the first MC Corp, was originally intended to be a pirate outfit, but their leader grew tired of the lifestyle and decided to take Body Count in a new direction. Inspired by the likes of mercenary frigates and Raikoku, and joined later by North Star Networks and the corporation, the fledgling MC pursued the mercenary concept to the next level, and enforced the image, symbolized by the now famous card logo, of a professional business-minded organization always striving to fulfill its contractual obligations.
People will complain about the fact that, that we don't have any honor because, they challenged an MC pilot to a one-on-one and we dropped 10 carriers on them. Well, you died, and that's what the client wanted, and that's all that really matters.
Having been at war with most of EVE at one time or another, Celine admits that it can feel odd being allies with an alliance one moment, then bitter enemies the next.
In terms of former friends becoming targets or vice versa, yeah, that's happened quite a bit. Where someone that we have attacked and done a really good job against will turn around and say, well, since you are obviously so good, will you turn around and go kill these people? And, oh, well, sure, no problem. And it creates an interesting dynamic.
Today, MC are based in period basis and can rely on a sizable Tech 2 industrial base and the support of what Celine calls one of the most prominent supercapital fleets in EVE. Apart from their relatively small headquarters, however, Celine insists the MC have no territorial aspirations or any special arrangements with neighbours.
People assume that because our constellation is in period basis, that somehow or another that we are inexorably tied to Band of Brothers, who pretty much claims the rest of the region. The fact is, when we were originally shopping for where we wanted to build our home, we spoke to several alliances, and nobody really understood what we were trying to do. They're like, oh, so cool, we'd have you as our little militia. And no, that was not what we wanted.
The agreement with BOB reportedly took just 5 minutes to complete, and in the 2 years since establishing the MC Home system, the agreement hasn't changed.
It's a pure business relationship. It's nowhere near as complex or sinister as people seem to make out. The biggest misconception was that we would never take a contract against Band of Brothers. They knew from the get-go that they were taking a risk by letting us establish a stronghold in the back end of their space, because it was specifically stated that if a contract came along that was attractive enough to us, that we would take it. And that's never happened, kind of surprisingly.
Unsurprisingly, many who have at one time been victims of MC have since joined their ranks. That the MC can be fighting different enemies from week to week is an attractive incentive for pilots tired of fighting the same foe for months on end. That said, life in the MC isn't always fun and games.
So even though we're small, we're very, very effective and motivated, and I think that's where it comes from, is the ability to work together better than a lot of larger alliances. We are a small alliance. On a good night, there are 70 to 80 people online. That is a very, very high night for us. On the flip side of it, those people are some of the best players in EVE.
Worried that alliances rise and fall almost daily, Celine is confident that the MC has a bright future. After bitter wars against Force of Evil, Five Alliance and Veritas in 2005, the end of 2006 was a difficult period that saw 2 of the original MC Corps leave the fold. To fill the void, Eternity Inc. was created, and numbers have swelled since Contraband and Seraphim Technologies joined. According to Celine, the MC is in better shape than it's ever been.
Thank you to Celine and MC for their assistance in helping us to compile that alliance profile. With us in studio this week we have Fangtooth Kasumi, who has been taking part in our new player experiment, which we will feature in future EVE TV shows. She attended the 9th of June player meet in London, organised by our second guest Skornik from the League of Abnormal Gentlemen. Also with us is former undercover brother and current Amarian activist Lathan. Welcome all. So Kasumi, you've been doing the new player experiment with Fortuna 5 and everyone's favourite Beefy Fiddler. Tell us a little bit about how that was.
Well, we've been going through firstly the tutorial system, as all new EVE players do, which took about a week, but it's pretty good because I feel quite grounded in everything, and I'm able to do combat and do quite a lot of the skills, so it's quite exciting.
Okay. And you've been getting a little bit of help with it as well?
Yeah, actually, a lot of the experts, the EVE experts, and people who've been playing 3 years or more since the beginning have been in with us and giving us really good expert advice, the kind that you wouldn't get usually as a new player.
So that puts it a bit of an advantage, I suppose, but...
I think so, yeah it's pretty good.
Okay. And has there been any on the negative side of that? As the fame comes, have people been targeting you?
No, because there's no fame yet. It's just totally new. Yeah, so I don't think that many people... Yeah, I know a few people, but not really. Maybe that will come.
Okay. And the other thing as well is I know Fortuna 5 has joined a corporation. She's now part of EVE University. Is that something you've given much thought to?
A lot, yeah. I've been researching all sorts of corps, and I definitely want to join one pretty soon, but I'm not sure exactly, where to go.
Has anyone approached you about it?
I've been approached by Goon Swarm, Rona.
Who in Goon Swarm?
I think Snake Oil Saleswoman. They got in there day one, actually. I just sort of opened up and there was a message in my EVE mail immediately.
Okay. And Rona as well, you say?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that one.
Okay, well, go with that, do your research and see how it goes. Okay, Skornik as well, our second guest. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was nice to have such a good turnout for the meet. It was a great evening. I had a great time. Did you expect so many people to turn up?
Well, no. I mean, initially the event was going to be just a corporation get-together. A member of ours is being posted over to Germany soon. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it, but we did want to open it up to the wider community to see who would come along. And yes, it was amazing to see quite so many people turn up, especially from loads of different locations. I mean, we had people fly down from Scotland, and a court mate flew over from Finland to appear.
Okay. And it was nice to see as well, and this happens at every player meet that I've been to, when you see people that maybe, you've met in game, maybe they're like, they're your enemies in EVE or whatever, or not even involved, and you can really kind of meet people in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you leave the game behind when you go to these events. I mean, that is the politics of the game are completely forgotten, and you're there to enjoy battle tales and have a few drinks.
Absolutely. And I believe a good time was had by all. What we can do is now cut to that video where Fortuna 5 was presenting for that.
Hi there, I'm Fortuna 5. It is June the 9th, 2007, and I'm here at the London EVE pub meet. Now, I'm a new presenter, and I'm not here alone. As you can see, behind me are some old being the right word, veterans of EVE TV. I'm now going to ask them for a little bit of advice. So, Spiral, what advice can you give me on being a new presenter?
Well, I think the important thing is to keep it fresh, make sure that everybody loves you, because what you'll find is after about 6 months of doing it, you'll get replaced really quickly. So make sure that everybody loves you, or there'll be someone else young and fresh along really quickly. It's very important, otherwise you'll find yourself out of a job really fast.
Right, okay. I'm now going to ask someone else, because obviously I am young and lovely, so, that's no problem. Can you hear me? Yeah? Good.
I was part of a corp and I was really giving it my best.
Really, what inspired you to make this special event for EVE players? Hi, I'm here with one of the players, and I was actually wondering whether you'd mind me asking you some questions.
Go ahead.
I wanted to know what your player name was in game.
My name's Implanted from Doom Triumvirate.
I'm here with Eating Yak, and I'm just going to ask her a few questions. So, Eating Yak, hello. Who do you fly with in game?
I'm currently with Liberty Rogues, who are friends with Bleak Cabal.
My actual game name is Obi Stoned within EVE.
And Ham 2000.
And who do you guys fly with in game?
We're part of the Electus Matari Alliance, but our corp is the Causality.
I do small game PvP, and when I'm not doing that, I do ratting, but I don't do missions. I hate them.
Well, I'm Sniggerly Fleet Commander, so I basically lead the fleets on the Euro side that we put out, or I don't like to lead fleets all the time, no. I like to just sit back, relax and kill stuff, basically. Blowing stuff up, that's basically it.
I do a lot of things, but my role is public relations for the CVA. So I write a lot of stories, and I try and present things to portray our alliance in the best light.
I'm a director for our corporation, so I'm involved in a bit of the public relations and also organising our junior members and trying to get the occasional fleet together and killing our enemies?
We pretty much go around killing people. We have no blues. We've been in the game for about 2 years, and we decided that we didn't like the politics side of it. So we set everyone neutral and have since gone around killing anyone.
And I just wanted to know what makes you come out to a pub meet? I mean, what makes you drink with people that you might not have even met before?
Well, it's all about the game. It's the interactivity of the game, meeting people that you fly with on a day-to-day basis and interacting with them.
Well, this is actually our first Eve meet, and we decided to come down, meet a few Corp members, Alliance members, and check it out, and hopefully be part of Eve meets more often and get to know people and be part of Eve even more than we are.
I'm here with two very special guests. It's the guys that actually organised this pub meet, and I want to know a little bit about why they decided to arrange it. Why did you decide to arrange a pub meet?
We came to a meet in September last year organised by Titiana, and we had a great amount of fun. We met a load of people from Eve that usually we end up shooting and whatever, and we got to meet them in a kind of social situation. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know, when you're not behind the spaceship, you kind of get to meet a load of real people and have a lot of fun.
Can I ask why London?
It's central, everyone can get here. Mainly because there's a lot of people who are coming from Europe and the rest of the world coming over here. So it's an easy place to get to where you're commuting and stuff like that. So, yeah, it works well for everyone, really. Sensible place to come.
OK, well, we're now back. We've got Kasumi and Skornik, and we're now going to let Lathan do a bit of talking. You attended the June London Player Meet. How was it for you? Have you been to many of these things before?
Yeah, it was the third player meet I've been to, so it was cool to meet a lot of the people that I'd seen at FanFest and I'd seen at the meet before that. It was a good time. I had a lot of fun, even though I turned up a little late. But
a little fashionably late.
Yeah, fashionably late. I missed a lot of the people I really wanted to see, but, you know, there'll always be a next time.
Okay. Did you meet anyone interesting that, you know, you're keeping in contact maybe in game or make new friends, should we say?
I basically went there and met the same guys that I met at FanFest, Calm Down, Rick Dick, and yeah, we had a laugh. I met some quite crazy people. Stan formerly from ATUC. He was funny. It was a good time. I had a good time. Met you guys again, and met Kasumi, and yeah, it was great. I had a lot of fun, as usual. So.
Okay, and the first time I met you was last year's FanFest in 2006, and you were looking a little bewildered sometimes, kind of walking around because. And a lot of people may be a little put off by FanFest and meets because they think, you know, it's going to be full of really strange people there because we were playing an internet game together. So is that fair or?
Well, no. Well, initially I thought it was just going to be a super geek fest. When I went there, I thought, okay, I'm not going to know anyone. I'm not going to be able to talk to anyone. I'll just soak it in and enjoy it. When I got there, it was just a lot of, you know, regular, normal people that just do this as a hobby and something else to do instead of, you know, say, I don't know, playing football or building little model aeroplanes. They play a computer game, which is cool. So I met a lot of diverse people, and I really enjoyed it. And it was an eye opener. It wasn't the sort of thing that is too closed, where, you know, everyone would be kind of. I don't know where I'm going.
No, it's okay. Just keep talking. That's fine.
Yeah.
We can edit out any bits that
okay,
where you make no sense.
Now, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, all three of you, for coming in. And that's it. Thank you.
And before we go, it's time for our first competition to win $100 worth of loot from the Eve TV store. This will get you 5 T-shirts for the summer, or an Eve fleece if you headed to FanFest, or Eve socks for all the family at Christmas. To win, all you have to do is send us an email telling us who Eve's first community manager was. Email your entries before downtime on Tuesday the 26th of June to win@eve-online.tv and include with your answer your player name so we can contact the winner in-game. And good luck.
Well, that pretty much wraps it up for the first show of Eve TV Weekly. The only thing to say is if you want to contact us for any reason, maybe you want to do an interview, you want to submit a story, or for anything else, you can do so by emailing us at info@eve-tv.online. Of course, there's other ways of contacting us. You can telephone us, you can Skype us, you can find us in-game. All these details are available on our website. That's pretty much it. So we'll see you next week for more news, features and dev interviews. We'll also have Ifni and Farjung, Eon's resident test flight expert, joining us in the studio discussing how you can be part of the Alliance tournament team. See you next week.